What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Game Night YouTube channel. In today's video, guys, I've got a tutorial and playthrough of Decayed. This is a small box game created by Abigail Glover of Underkeeper Games. So in this video, I'm going to teach you about the components of the game. I'm going to teach you how to set up the game, how to play, and we're going to do a little playthrough of the game too, so that way you guys can see it in action. So we got the box right here. Very nice little small box game, as mentioned. Yep, you can take this with you on the go if you want to travel, have a nice little game to play with you. And yeah, guys, we're going to hop right into this. And first, we're going to get into the introduction and overview of the game. So you are in a hospital overrun by decayed creatures, and the only way out is to fight. You must use your survivor's unique perks and stats to help you take down the killer. Explore with the exploration deck to find encounters, scenarios, and locations. Search your way through the hospital, finding items that will enhance and aid you. Roll dice to determine the killer's reaction to your moves, and pray that you have what it takes to survive. So this is a one-player game. It is for ages 12 and up, and it takes about 30 to 45 minutes to play. So let's hop right into the components of the game. First of all, we've got a couple little components up this way. We've got a little red and black cube. The red cube is to track your health, and the black cube is going to be to track your decay, which you'll find out about soon enough. And we also have two 6-sided dice and then one 10-sided dice, which is the scenario dice right there. So we'll set those over this way for now. And then we'll get into all of the cards. So let's do the survivors down this way in the bottom left. You've got 3 different survivors that you can pick from. When you flip these cards over, you can see you've got the face of the cards has each of the 3 different survivors. You've got Andrea B, Eve Renee, and Zion Evans. In this tutorial playthrough, we're going to play as Andrea B. So we're going to go ahead and remove the other 2, set them off to the side, and we'll put Andrea down this way. Cool. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take our 2 little cubes. We'll take our red cube and set it on the 10 on the health tracker. This is your health tracker. You start with 10 health. Of course, if you ever reach 0, you lose the game. We're going to take our little black cube for our decay cube, and we're just going to set it over here off to the side. Whenever we get decay, you'll start at 1 and your decay will count up from the opposite direction. If your decay ever equals or exceeds your health, you lose the game. So that's another way to lose the game other than your health going all the way down to 0. Then we have a few little symbols up here that won't make much sense right now, but they will soon enough. We've got your constitution, which is the plus symbol with the 3 arrows pointing up. That's your constitution. You're going to use that to make constitution checks whenever the killer attacks you. We'll get into that soon enough. You've also got a perception score right here, which is the little eyeball symbol. That's going to be used to mitigate your dice roll up or down by a particular number, whatever your perception is, on the scenario dice when you roll for scenarios. Of course, we'll get into that too. And then the top right number is the defense number. That's how much damage you're going to mitigate whenever you get attacked by the killer. And then off to the side over here, we've got these 3 little perk cards. So depending on what character you choose to play with, you'll get a particular perk. And you can look at the back of the card and see it's got a picture of each character on there like so. So you've got Eve Renee, you've got Zion Evans, and then you've got Andrea B. Since we're playing with Andrea, we're going to take the other 2 cards and set those off to the side. And we'll flip this card face up like so. And this is our perk called Layout Knowledge. And we'll get into this one soon too. Then let's go over the killer cards next. So you've got 3 different killers that you can choose from to play against in the game. You've got the nurse, the surgeon, and the amalgamation. In today's video, we're going to be playing against the nurse. So I'm going to take the other 2 cards and set those off to the side. So there's some different little stats on this card that we should take note of. First of all, on the top right, you've got the name, the nurse, and it says stage 1, and then it's got a picture of the nurse. Over here on the top left, this is the stipulation that you need to meet. This is the requirement that you need to meet in order to defeat stage 1 of this particular killer, the nurse. In the bottom left, this is her special ability, and this will activate at a particular time, which I'll describe in just a little while. So top left is how you defeat it. Bottom left is their special ability. Once you defeat stage 1 of a killer, you'll flip them to the reverse side, and they become their stage 2 form. Same thing, it's got the name, except now it's a stage 2 and a new picture to display their new form. And then same as the stage 1 side, the top left is how you defeat them, and the bottom left is their special ability. So we're starting on stage 1, like so. Off to the right of the killer are 3 extra little killer cards. So 2 of them have the nurse on the back, 1 has the amalgamation, and if you flip them over to the other side, you'll see you've got the matches, which goes with the amalgamation. We're not playing against that boss, or that killer rather, in this playthrough, so I'm going to move that off to the side for now. And then we've got the 2 bone saws that have the nurse on the back, and since we are going against the nurse as the killer, we're going to need to use these 2 bone saws. So we'll set those here, and you'll notice in order to kill stage 1 of the nurse, it says discard 2 bone saws. So we'll need to acquire these, and I'll explain how you do that soon enough. Next up, we've got we've got a card from the item deck on top of the exploration deck. There we go. These are supposed to go over here in the item deck. There we go. So we've got the exploration deck right here. We'll go over that. So essentially the way the game works is there's going to be 2 phases to each turn of the game. There's going to be the exploration phase, or the player's turn, and then there's going to be the killer's turn. During the exploration phase, you're going to take the top 2 cards of the exploration deck and set them face down off to the side, and then you'll choose one to go to. Let's say you flip the first one and you decide that you want to do that one. You'll resolve that card, and then you'll flip it over and you'll keep the other one face down and set them off to the side this way, and then you would proceed to the killer's turn. If you flip over the first card and you decide, ooh, I don't want to go that way, I want to push my luck, you can choose to flip over the other card, in which case you would have to do whatever is on the second card. You've passed up your opportunity to do what's on the first one. You would have to do the second one, and then you would take those and flip them face down and put them in the discard pile over this way. Now, there are essentially 3 different types of cards that you can find in this exploration deck. So you're going to have encounter cards, you're going to have location cards, and you're going to have scenario cards. And we'll go over each of those different cards now. So let's look first at the encounter card here. So for the encounter card, these are essentially enemies. These are the decayed, infected enemies that you're going to run into as you're roaming around in this dark hospital. And the way this is going to work is, let's say that you run into this enemy as the first card. So let's say you have your 2 cards here, and you flip this over, and it's an encounter card. If you choose to resolve this as the first card, you get to attack first. And in order to attack, you would take a d6 and you would roll it, and you're trying to roll equal to or higher than the health value of the encounter. So you notice there's 3 little symbols on the encounter cards. There's the health value, which is what you're trying to roll equal to or higher than when you attack them. There's also the skull symbol, which is how much damage they inflict to you when they attack you. And then the treasure chest shows how many items you get to draw from the item deck whenever you defeat that encounter. So if you were to fight this enemy as the first card of the 2, you get to attack first. So you would roll your d6, and you're trying to get equal to or higher than their health. And if you manage to do it, you kill them, and you get the amount of item cards listed underneath the treasure chest. If you roll lower than their health, then you miss, and the enemy will attack you, and they'll deal damage to you equal to the number printed underneath the skull. In this case, it would be 1, so we would end up taking 1 damage. And then you just repeat that process. You keep rolling and trying to equal or exceed their health value in order to kill them, and every time you fail, they damage you equal to the number printed underneath their skull. You can also choose to roll 2d6 to attack an enemy, and if you do that, you have to spend 1 health in order to do that. So it gives you better odds at rolling their health or higher, but it comes at a cost. You have to spend 1 health in order to do that. If you were to flip this card, and you're like, oh, I don't want to go that way, I want to push my luck, and you flip into an encounter card as the second card, then the enemy automatically attacks you first, and you take damage equal to the amount printed underneath the skull, and then you'd proceed as normal, and then you get to roll to attack, and if you equal or exceed, you kill them. If not, they deal damage to you, and then you proceed that way until either you die or you defeat the enemy. So that's the way the encounter cards work. Then we've got the location cards. So location cards are very self-explanatory. They'll just tell you to do something on the card, and whether you flip it as the first or push your luck into it as the second card, you just resolve the encounter card and do what it says. In this case, with the operating room +1 decay, pretty self-explanatory. You would just take your decay meter and increase it by 1 over this way. And then last but not least, we've got scenario cards. These are really cool. So same thing, either if you choose this as the first card or you push your luck into it as the second card, what you're going to end up doing is rolling this d10, which is the scenario die, and then you're going to get a different outcome depending on what you roll. So in the case of this card, the corpse, if you roll a 1 through 5, you successfully loot the corpse and you get to take 2 items from the item deck. Or if you roll a 6 through 10, you are attacked by the corpse and you get +3 decay. So there's either going to be a good thing or a bad thing that happens, a good outcome or a bad outcome. So you really got to decide if you're feeling lucky or not. And there's a cool thing too. You can use your perception number to mitigate this dice roll. So Andrea B isn't the greatest example since she has 0 perception. So let's take a look at one of the other characters, such as Zion Evans. So if you were playing as Zion Evans, he has a perception of 1. So let's say in this case, you end up rolling a 6 for this corpse card. And you're like, ooh, a 6 through 10, you're attacked by the corpse. Well, with your 1 perception, you can change this dice roll up or down by 1 since his perception is 1. So I could actually change this down to a 5. And then I would be successful. We would successfully loot the corpse. Also, if you were playing as Eve Renee, and let's say in the same scenario you rolled a 7, her perception is 2. So I can mitigate this up or down by 2. So I could change the 7 down to a 5. And again, I would be successful. So that's how your perception factors in to the scenario cards with the scenario die. So that's it. Those are the 3 types of cards that are in the exploration deck that you're going to run into. You're also going to notice on some of these cards in the exploration deck, they're going to have 2 different symbols. Actually, there's 2 different symbols, but in varying amounts. So let's see. We've got the medication storage. We've also got another medication storage here. There's also going to be the operating room, and there should be a second operating room right here. And on these cards, they've got these little like eyeball symbols on them. And these are going to represent certain actions that are taken by some of the killers. So if we take a look at the other killers here, because it doesn't pertain to the nurse, for the surgeon, it says roll scenario die at single eyeball. And I think it's an eyeball. It might not be an eyeball, but it looks like an eyeball to me. So that's what I'm going with. So whenever you draw one of these exploration cards that has the single eyeball on it, it activates this portion of the surgeon's killer card. On the flip side, for his special ability, it says roll 1d6 anytime a single or double eye icon appears. So these 2 cards have the single, and then these 2 versions of the card have the double, and that would activate that right there. Similarly with the amalgamation, it says when a single eyeball is drawn, discard the matches to defeat. So if you were to draw the single eyeball operating room or the single eyeball medication storage, and you also had the matches in your possession, you would discard these in order to defeat the stage 1 of the amalgamation. So yeah, so that is how that works with those little symbols in the exploration deck. So we'll set those back here. Cool. And then we're going to take a look at the item deck. So you've got an item deck here, and this is basically your loot. So there are 4 special item cards in the deck. 2 of them are called Anti-Parasitic A, and the other 2 are called Anti-Parasitic B. At the start of the game, you're going to want to remove these from the item deck, and once you defeat the first stage of the killer and it gets flipped to its stage 2 side, then you're going to take all 4 of these cards, the 2 Anti-Parasitic A's and the 2 Anti-Parasitic B's, and you're going to shuffle them into the item deck, and then that becomes your new win condition for all 3 stage 2 versions of the 3 killers. The win condition is have Anti-Parasitic A and Anti-Parasitic B. So you'll have to get both of these in order to defeat them. So yeah, just remember that you remove these when the game starts, and when you defeat stage 1 of the killer and go to stage 2, you take these 4 cards and then shuffle them in to the item deck. So we'll go ahead and set these off to the side for now. And then you've got the rest of the items in the item deck. So there's a few different types of items. You have hand items in the form of the gloves. You've also got the flashlight. And you've got a knife, and you've also got a shield. So you've got 4 of those items right there, 4 hand items, and you'll see it says hand in this little box right here. You can only ever have 1 hand item at a time, and it's going to go in this slot down here off to the left. This is your hand slot. So if you were to pick up another hand item, let's say we wanted the knife, we would have to drop the shield, and then we could pick up the knife. So those are your 4 different hand items. And again, those go down here in this slot. And then you're going to have some items that go on your body. So you've got the headlamp, you've got the hazmat suit, the bulletproof vest, and the glasses. And so these items, much like the hand items right here, will have text that says body. So you know that that goes on your body, and you can only have 1 body item equipped at a time, and it goes right here in the second slot down here in your inventory. And these each do varying things. And of course, same with the hand items. Let's say we picked up the bulletproof vest and we wanted to use it over the glasses. We'd have to drop the glasses in order to equip this. And of course, you could always just choose not to. You can keep the item that you have too. And if you pick up a new one, you can just go, no, I'm going to keep this one and discard the other one. So those are the 4 body items. And then the last 4 cards in the item deck are 2 medkits and 2 vaccines. And you'll notice that these have some little special symbols on them as well. So I mentioned earlier, there's 2 special symbols in the game. There's the little eyeball symbols that show up on some of the exploration cards in the exploration deck in the medication storage and operating room with the little eyeballs. And then in the item deck, there's this little biohazard symbol. So there's a single biohazard symbol, and then there's the double biohazard symbol. And that comes into play for some of the killers. So for instance, with the nurse here, on her bone saws, it says take whenever a single or double biohazard symbol is drawn. So if you were to draw either this medkit, or either one of these vaccines that has the single and double biohazard symbols, you'd get to draw one of these bone saws into your inventory down this way. And these last 2 slots are your inventory slots. So you've got your hand slot, your body slot, and then your 2 inventory slots where you can hold medkits, vaccines, and then either the bone saws, or if you're playing against the amalgamation, the matches item here. And also, once you shuffle them in, your anti-parasitic A and B will also go down here in these slots. So there you go. And there's also a couple other ways that you can use these little symbols here. I don't think there's any on the flip side of the nurse. No, I believe it's on the other killer card. So we'll look at those. So it is, I think it is anyway. Oh no, you know what? It's actually on the matches. That's what it is. It's on the matches. So when you're fighting the amalgamation, it says take whenever a single biohazard symbol is drawn. So if you were to draw the medkit or the vaccine that has the 2 biohazard symbols, you don't get this. You only get it when you draw the one that has the single biohazard symbol on it. So those are the ways that you use these biohazard symbols. It's essentially to acquire the items necessary to defeat the bosses. So set that over that way. So those are all of the items right there. And then last but not least, we've got these little turn or killer turn reference cards here. Comes with a couple of them. They're double-sided. It's the same thing printed on both sides. And it essentially tells you what happens whenever it's the killer's turn, which we're going to get into right now. So one round of play, again, would be the exploration phase or the player's turn, and then the killer's turn. So you would lay down 2 exploration cards. You would flip one. You would decide if you want to resolve that or if you want to push your luck and go the other way. Depending on what you do, you would take those 2 cards. Once you're done resolving it, you'd set them over that way. And then you can also use any items that you have during your turn, and you can also use your perk during your turn if you want. If you do choose to use your perk, you would take it and flip it over to the inactive side, and you have to wait until you go through the entire exploration deck. And once the exploration deck gets reshuffled, then you can flip over your perk from the inactive side back to the front of it, and you'll be able to use it once again. So you can use your perk 1 time through the entire exploration deck. So once you're done taking your turn, then it's the killer's turn. The way the killer's turn works is you're going to take the 2d6, you would roll these, and depending on the outcome, one of 3 different things is going to happen. Now, to get the outcome, you're going to subtract the lower number from the higher number. And if the result is 1 to 2, the killer misses. So the killer basically just misses their turn, and then it goes back to the exploration phase, and you would lay down 2 more cards and explore again. If the result of these dice is 3 to 5, the killer attacks. So when the killer attacks you, you immediately take the 2d6, you would roll them again, and similarly, you would subtract the lower result from the higher result, and that's how much damage the killer will inflict to you. And at that point, you would look at your defense, and you would subtract the number printed next to your defense from that damage. So let's say the killer rolled and they hit us, and let's say they rolled a 6 and a 2. So the difference between that is 4, and then we've got 1 defense, so 4 minus 1 is 3. So we would take 3 damage in that case and go down to 7, like so. And then the next thing that happens is whenever the killer attacks you and damages you, they have a chance to decay you. So you also have a chance to mitigate that decay by making a constitution check. Normally you get 1 constitution check, and you would roll this d6. If you roll anything but a 6, you fail, and you get 1 decay added to your decay meter. If you roll a 6, you pass the Constitution check and you don't take the decay whenever the enemy attacks it. You would still take the damage, but you wouldn't take that 1 decay. And then this is where your Constitution stat comes into play. So your Constitution stat will let you re-roll this dice a number of times printed next to your Constitution stat. So for Andrea B, she gets to re-roll the Constitution check 2 times. So if we roll once and we fail, we roll again and we fail, we can actually roll a 3rd time and we might end up rolling a 6 and succeeding, and we wouldn't have to take that 1 decay. And then the last thing that can happen whenever it's the killer's turn and they roll their 2 dice to see which of the 3 outcomes are going to happen, if they ever roll doubles, of course, a number minus itself is 0. And so it says the killer's special ability activates. And that's when you look down here in the bottom left of the card and you would activate the special ability of whatever killer you're currently facing. So in the case of the nurse, it's called injection. It says roll 1d6 and take infection based on roll. Whenever the game says infection, like take infection or plus or minus infection, it's synonymous with decay. Decay and infection are the same thing. So in this case, it says roll 1d6 and take infection based on roll. If you roll a 1, you take 0. If you roll a 2 or a 3, you get 2 infection. If you roll a 4 or 5, you get 1 infection. And if you roll a 6, you get 3 infection. So let's say in this case, we rolled a 6. We rolled the worst case scenario. We would get 3 infection, which is essentially 3 decay. And you would increase your decay meter by 3 from whatever point it's at currently over this way. And remember, if your decay ever equals or exceeds your health, you lose the game. So you want to keep your decay low and your health high. And I think that is about it. I think that covers all of the mechanics and the cards in the game. So now we're going to do a little playthrough and cross our fingers and hope this goes well so you guys can kind of see the game in action here. So we're going to go ahead and shuffle up both of the decks. We'll get the exploration deck shuffled up, and then we'll get the item deck shuffled up, and we're going to head in. And remember, we removed these 4 cards from the item deck, the anti-parasitic A's and anti-parasitic B's. We removed those off to the side because we're not going to need those until we, hopefully, fingers crossed, defeat stage 1 of the killer. So let's go ahead and get the items nice and mixed up, especially since we sorted them out. Let's go ahead and mix them up. There we go. It's very easy setup. You just basically shuffle up the exploration deck, shuffle up the item deck, and you're pretty much good to go. Set your health tracker, and that's it. Okay, cool. So we're going to take our first turn. So it's the player's turn and then the killer's turn. And that's the gameplay loop. It just keeps looping over and over again. So we're going to do the exploration, or killer's turn, or player's turn rather. So we've got a medication storage. It's got these 2 little eyeball symbols, but that doesn't make anything activate here. We're mainly looking for the single and double biohazard symbols from item cards. It says -1 infection. We don't have any decay. But if I push my luck, it might be something bad. So I'm actually just going to chill here. We're going to go to the medication storage and resolve that card. So we'll move these over this way. That ends the exploration phase. And now it's the killer's turn. So we'll take the 2 dice, we'll roll them. And we rolled 6 and 2. The difference between that is 4. If you roll a 3 through 5, the killer attacks. So now the killer's going to attack. You roll the 2d6 again. And oh my gosh, we got really unlucky. So the 6 minus 1 is 5, and then minus our 1 defense is 4. We just took 4 damage already and went down to 6. And then, of course, when the killer attacks you, you have to take a constitution check to see if they're also going to add 1 decay to you. So we need to roll a 6. Anything but a 6 is a fail. We rolled a 1, but we have 2 constitution, so we can roll 2 more times with Andrea B. We rolled a 1 again. We're getting very unlucky. Let's go again, and we rolled a 2. Wow, some abysmal rolls. So we get 1 decay. Hopefully we don't die too fast, so that way you guys can see at least a few more turns of the game here. Okay, so that's the end of the killer's turn, and then it loops right back around. So we're at the top of the phase. It's the exploration phase again. Let's go ahead and pick one. So, we got a scenario. We got a dark hallway. We're either going to potentially lose 2 health or gain a health. The odds are on our side, though. If we roll 4 through 10, we'll gain a health. So I think we're going to do it. Let's go down this dark hallway. Let's roll the scenario die. And we've rolled a 1. Guys, we're getting so unlucky. If you roll a 1 through 3, you slip and hit your head. -2 health. Oh my goodness. I feel like Abby, I watched Abby's tutorial of Decayed, and man, she got unlucky. I felt so bad for her watching that video, and I'm living her experience right now. Okay, so we're going to move these over this way. And now it's the killer's turn. We might literally die right here. I hope that we don't. Let's see what happens. Okay. 3 minus 2 is 1. If the difference is 1 or a 2, the killer misses. So the killer has missed. We outrun the killer for a little bit at least. Let's run further into this dark, creepy hospital. We have a strange box. Ooh, we could find an item inside. We could also lose a health, but I really want to find an item. Surely our luck has to turn around at some point, right, guys? Let's check it out. Let's look inside the strange box. And we rolled a 9. If you roll a 6 through 10, you cut yourself on the edge. -1 health. I guess this is how this is going to go. Okay, it's the killer's turn. Killer gets to roll. Okay, ooh, and they rolled doubles, which means the killer's special ability is going to activate, and she's going to do injection. So we're going to roll 1d6 and take infection or decay based on the result. This could be it, guys. We rolled a 2. We take 2 decay, and our decay equals our health, and we have lost the game. You know what, guys? We're going to run another one back real quick because that was entirely too fast. But that is essentially the game in a nutshell right there. That is a playthrough of Decayed, but that was super unlucky. So we're going to do another one real quick because I want you guys to see a little bit more of the game. I want you to see some of the items and stuff, especially for the tutorial's sake. It's not a very good representation, but at least you can see how difficult the game is. So hey, that was a good example of how difficult the game could be. So let's go ahead and get the exploration deck shuffled up, and we're going to try again. We're going to try again with Andrea B and the nurse. And it's good because the game is fairly challenging. So, you're going to have to play a few times, you know what I mean, before you're able to get a win in. And personally, I really enjoy that. I don't like when games are too easy. I like them to be a challenge. So there we go. We did get incredibly unlucky right there. Okay, let's go back in. Let's go. Andrea wakes up in her hospital bed and she was like, oh my God, what was that crazy dream I just had? It was all just a dream. But then she wakes up into an actual real life nightmare and realizes she's actually in the hospital and the lights are out and there's weird creatures all over the place, and there's a crazy mutated infected nurse that's trying to chase her. That's a good segue, right? Here we go. Let's go into the first exploration card. We got a Decayed Crawler. This is the most difficult enemy. It's got 5 health. It does 2 damage to you, but it does give you 2 items, which is really good. But I don't want to fight that. So we're going to go ahead and push our luck into a regular Decayed. So since we pushed our luck into an encounter card, the enemy attacks first, and we take damage equal to the number printed underneath the skull, which is 1. So we're going to go down to 9 over this way. Then we get to retaliate. So now I could, if I wanted to, decide to spend a health and roll 2d6, but I'm not going to do that against the regular Decayed. We need to roll 3 or better. So we got a 66% chance. Luck is on our side. Boom, we got it. Cool. So we took down the Decayed, and we're going to get a loot. It's also worth mentioning too, you have to roll equal to or higher than, and it just kills the enemy. If you ever roll lower than, you don't inflict that amount of damage to it. It just doesn't inflict any damage at all. Either you completely miss or you kill the enemy outright. So we get 1 item from the item deck. Let's see what we get. We got the headlamp. Cool. So this is a body item. So it goes in our second slot right here for our body items. And it says always attack first. So like in this scenario, even though we had pushed our luck into an enemy, normally the enemy would attack first when you push your luck into it. With the headlamp, you always get to attack first either way. Very, very useful item. So I'll go ahead and set this over here. We're off to a better start than the dream that Andrea just had. The nurse is going to take her turn. Let's go ahead and roll. And the difference between the 5 and the 2 is 3. So the killer attacks. Let's see how much damage she does. And she does 4 minus 2 is 2. Minus our 1 defense is 1. So we take 1 damage. And then we need to roll a constitution check to see if we get decayed. Okay, we rolled a 3, but our constitution is 2, so we get to roll 2 more times. We rolled a 3 again, and we get 1 more chance. And we rolled a 5. Not quite, so we do get 1 decay, like so. Okay, so exploration phase, once again. Let's go deeper in. We found the medication storage. Now you notice we got the 2 little eyeballs here, but again, we're not looking for that. We're mainly looking for the single or double biohazard symbols that we find in the item deck. We should go ahead and resolve the medication storage because we get -1 infection. So let's take some medication, get rid of that infection. We've got no more decay on us, and now it is the killer's turn once again. Killer goes. The difference between 3 and 2 is 1, so the killer misses. Let's go. Okay, let's go deeper in. What do we got? A strange box. Ooh. Maybe we'll have better luck in real life than in our dreams. Let's try it. Let's go ahead and roll. We rolled a 4. And if you roll a 1 through 5, you find something inside. Take 1 item. Here we go, guys. Here we go. Now we're playing. We got a med kit. And check it out, guys. This has the 2 biohazard symbols, and it says on the bone saw, take whenever a single or double biohazard is drawn. So we get to take one of the bone saws in our inventory. Nice. Okay, so we're halfway to defeating the first stage of the nurse already. Way better than the dream that we just had, that's for sure. And we got a med kit, which says roll 1d6 minus 1d6, and then you gain X amount of health. So we would roll these, and we would gain the difference in health over this way. I'm going to save it. I don't want to spend it just yet. Cool. So let's go ahead and move these over this way. And now it's the killer's turn. See what the nurse is getting up to. She rolls a 1, so she misses. It is our turn once again. Getting some luck this time. We got antibiotics. It's either going to make us lose a health or get rid of a decay. Since we don't have any decay, I'm going to push my luck and go this way. Into used bandages. I could use my layout knowledge perk, which says return to a skipped exploration card, which means that I could actually go back to the first one that I skipped, where normally you have to do the second one. And if I did that, of course, I'd have to flip this over, and then I would be able to flip it back once we go through the entire exploration deck. But I think I'm actually going to try to resolve the bandages, even though it's not necessarily in my favor. I think I'm going to... I think I'm going to do it because I could get +2 health. I'm probably going to get +1 decay. That's what the odds are, but I could get +2 health if I get lucky. I rolled a 6. Oh man, a 1 through 7, your wounds become infected, +1 decay. And the sort of downside to Andrea B, all 3 of the characters are balanced. Her 0 stat is on her perception, so we don't get to mitigate scenario rolls. So we're actually going to get +1 decay from these used bandages because our wounds become infected. So we're going to go ahead and set these cards over this way, and now it's the killer's turn once again. See what happens here. Rolled a 2, so it misses. Dude, we're getting super lucky there. Okay, we're going to go deeper in with the exploration phase. Ooh, okay, so this is the eyeballs. We're not worried about that. We found an operating room, +1 decay. I don't really want to get more decay. I'm going to push my luck. Yes, into a supply closet location, +2 health. Boom, we go back up to full health. That's what I'm talking about, dude. Heck yes. Cool, now it's the killer's turn. And she rolled 1 again. Dude, I don't know what this nurse is doing, man. We're getting really lucky. She's like stumbling as she's chasing us down these halls. There's a decayed hound. We would have to roll 4 or better in order to hit it. So we got a 50-50 chance, and we could get an item from it. We do have a med kit, too, in case it chomps on us a little bit. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. So since we're resolving this encounter card as the first card of the 2, we get to attack first. So we get to roll. We need 4 or better. We got a 1, so it's going to hit us. It does 1 damage to us. We attack again. We roll the 1. It does 1 damage to us. We attack again. We roll a 3. It does 1 damage. How many 50? Let's see how many 50-50s we can lose in a row, guys. We attack again. We finally hit it. There we go. So we get 1 item. Let's see what we get. A hazmat suit. Okay, so this goes on your body. This says +1 constitution. So this would add 1 to our constitution up here. So we would get to roll an extra time whenever we're trying to make constitution checks when we get attacked and hit by the killer. I think I want to keep the headlamp, though. Yeah, I think I want to keep the headlamp. So I'm going to actually drop the hazmat suit, and we're going to hang on to the headlamp. Cool. And we move these over this way. And now it's the killer's turn. Let's see what happens. Ooh, it rolled doubles. Uh-oh. So when the killer rolls doubles, they do their special ability. And the special ability for the nurse is injection. So it says roll 1d6 and take infection based on roll. Okay, let's see what happens. We rolled a 5. We take 1 infection. Okay, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. I also think I want to use my med kit. Yeah, so it's my turn, so we're going to go ahead and use the med kit. You can do that during your turn. So let's go ahead and roll. Okay, nice. We got 5 minus 1 is 4, so we're going to gain all of our health back. Amazing. We're back up to full health, and we're sitting on 2 decay right now. And then you take the med kit and discard it over this way in the discard pile for the item deck. Cool. Okay, let's head deeper in. What do we have up ahead? An operating room, +1 decay. I'm going to push my luck. We've got layout knowledge in case we run into something nasty. Ooh, there's a locker. Let's check it out. Let's see what's in the locker. It's just barely ajar. Let's creak it open and see what's in there. We rolled a 2. You see an item inside the locker. Take 1 item. So if we roll a 1 through a 6 and we rolled a 2, let's see what we get. Gloves. There's a hand item. Cool. So we can put this in our hand. Put some latex gloves on. It says +1 towards constitution check. Oh, cool. So whenever we roll our constitution check, we get to add 1 to it. So if we roll a 5, we can add 1 to it and make it a 6. So now we need a 5 or a 6 on a constitution check. That's good. I like that. That's cool. Okay, let's put these over here. Now it's the killer's turn. She's going to roll. She rolls 2, so she misses. Let's go, guys. This is a much better playthrough so far. I'm liking this. Ooh, now we got the corpse scenario. We can either get 2 items, or we can end up getting +3 decay. Our decay is already... our decay is already at 2. We've got no perception. Should we risk it, guys? Let's push our luck. Let's push our luck. Into the medication storage. -1 infection. I'm going to go that way. Yep, let's do that. And the reason I say I'm going to go that way is because, normally you have to do it, but we've got our layout knowledge perk down here where I could use it to return to a skipped card. So, okay, let's get the -1 infection. I like that. Now it's the killer's turn. See if the nurse is still fumbling back there. She rolls a 1. She is, dude. I don't know what she's doing. She doesn't know what she's doing either. Let's go deeper in. We got a Decayed Hound. I'm going to push my luck just to see what's this way. It's a Decayed. We would get attacked first if we go this way. So I'm going to use my layout knowledge to return to a skipped exploration card. And we're going to turn back to the Decayed Hound. It might... See, this is the thing. If we go this way, we would take 1 damage, but then we only need to roll 3 or better. If we go to the Decayed Hound, we don't take any damage, but we have to roll 4 or better. But there's a 50-50 shot that we just kill it and don't take any damage. So I think I'm going to go with those odds. Let's see if we get it. We got it. We rolled a 4. Yes, let's go, dude. So we kill the Decayed Hound, and we get 1 item. What do we get? We get a knife. Ooh, dude, this is a hand item. +1 to attacks against encounters. That's amazing. So I'm actually going to drop the gloves, and I'm going to pick up the knife. Dude, this is like the best combo for combat right here. We got the knife in our hand and the headlamp on our body. So we always attack first, and we get to roll 1 for our attacks against enemies. So like if we fought a Decayed, we would need 2 or better. If we fought a Decayed Hound, we would need 3 or better. Really, really powerful. So put those over this way. We've gone through the entire exploration deck. We're going to take one more killer phase here, one more killer turn. Ooh, so she rolled a 4, so the killer attacks. Just when I got rid of those gloves, too. Let's see how much damage she does. She does 6 minus 4 is 2. -1 defense is 1. So we take 1 damage. And then let's see if she decays us. We need to roll for our constitution check. We need a 6. Okay, we rolled a 2, but we got a constitution of 2, so we get to roll 2 more times. We rolled a 1. Come on, give us a 6 right here, dude. And we rolled a 1, so we get 1 more decay and go up to 2. Cool, so now we have to take the exploration deck and shuffle it up, and we're going to go through once again. So let's go through and shuffle this thing up, like so. Cool. All right, and then we're going to take our perk since we spent it, and we're going to flip it from the inactive side back over to its active side on the front, and we can use it again one time through this round through the exploration deck. Okay, cool. So it's our turn once again. Let's go ahead and see what we got up ahead. We got an operating room with +1 decay. I'm going to push my luck into a corpse. Okay, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. Let's see what happens here. It's a scenario. We need to roll the scenario dice. We rolled a 7. Uh-oh. You are attacked by the corpse. +3 decay. Oh my gosh, we're up to 5 decay. Not good. Not good. That is a gnarly one, dude. That's a super, super gnarly one. Okay, it's the nurse's turn. Let's see what happens here. We need that other bone saw. She rolls 2 and misses. Good, we need that after that corpse just lashed out at us. So we got a decayed. We're going to go ahead and fight it. We get +1 to our attacks against encounters, so we need 2 or better. And we roll a 6, completely annihilated, and we get 1 item. Let's see what we get. A med kit, and check it out, dude. It's got the little symbol up here, the little biohazard symbol, and we get to take the bone saw if we draw the single or double biohazard symbol. So I'm going to go ahead and use the med kit. We healed 1 health. That's perfect. We were only missing 1. Put this over here in the discard pile, and then we get to pick up the bone saw. So now we have both bone saws, and now it is the killer's turn. Or I guess actually it's still technically our turn. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use the bone saws. So it says discard 2 bone saws. Let's discard both of these bone saws. That is going to defeat stage 1 of the nurse. So we get to flip her over to the stage 2 side. And now we take the 4 anti-parasitics, the 2 anti-parasitic A's and 2 anti-parasitic B's, and we shuffle them into the item deck to form a new item deck. So let's get these shuffled in. And now the goal for us, our mission, is to find one of each of those anti-parasitics, the A and the B, and we need to have them in our inventory in order to defeat stage 2 of the killer. So we'll get these nice and shuffled up. But it's going to be a little bit more difficult because now we're on stage 2 of the killer, and they're a little bit gnarlier. Their special ability will get stronger. Let's go ahead and do this like so. Cool. And now it's the killer's turn. Okay, let's see what's going to happen here. So we sawed her head off with the bone saws, and now she's got ligaments and all kinds of stuff sticking out of her neck. Okay, she rolled a 1. She misses. That works for me. I like it. She's stunned from the bone saw attack. Let's go ahead and see what's coming up next. We got a supply chest that would give us +2 health. We're at full health. Should I push my luck? I really need to get this decay off of me. I'm going to push my luck. Okay, we push into a Decayed. We've got the headlamp, so we always get to attack first, and we're getting +1 to attack, so we need 2 or better. We rolled a 6. Dude, we're destroying these Decayed. Let's see what we get from the item deck. Gloves. This would be a hand item, +1 toward Constitution check. I'm going to drop this. I want to hang on to the knife. The knife is really good. The gloves are good too, but I really like the knife. So now it's the killer's turn. Let's see what happens. Oh, she rolls a 4, so she's going to attack. Yikes. Let's see how much damage she does. Please be gentle. Ooh, she does 4. Minus our 1 defense is 3. So we go from 10 down to 7. And then let's see if she decays us. We need to pass a Constitution check, guys. We need a 6. Yes, we actually got it. So she doesn't put any decay on us, but we're only 2 points away from losing the game. Yikes, guys. If we lose 2 health or if we gain 2 decay, we lose the game. So we need something here. We need another storage room where we can heal. A Decayed crawler? No, I'm going to push my luck into a Decayed hound. Okay, we get to always attack first with the headlamp, and we get +1 to attack, so we need 3 or better. Come on. Yes, dude, we're crushing with the knife. Let's go. Let's see what we get. Anti-parasitic A. Let's go, guys. We just need anti-parasitic B, and we literally win the game. Okay, let's go ahead and put these over this way. It's looking really grim. This is very tense. It's the killer's turn. See what happens. She rolls a 2 and misses us. Let's go. We needed that, guys. Going deeper in. A Decayed hound. Ooh. I'm going to push my luck into a medication storage. -1 infection. Let's do that. Let's get rid of that 1 infection. Get a little bit of breathing room here. It's the killer's turn. Okay, she rolls 3. So if she rolls 3 through 5, she attacks. Yikes. Okay, let's see what she does here. She does 3. Minus our 1 defense is 2 damage. So we go 1, 2. Dude, we're 1 away. We need to pass this Constitution check. We need a 6. Remember, we got a Constitution of 2, so we get to roll 3 times. Yes! Oh my god, so lucky. Dude, we're rolling 6s left and right. Amazing, man. Cool. Okay, we passed the Constitution check. We're going deeper in. We're barely alive. Andrea B's barely hanging on. A strange box. Ooh, if we cut ourselves on it, we're literally going to lose the game. I'm going to push my luck. We've got our perk in case we need to use it. Ooh, a supply closet, +2 health. Yes, please. Ooh, amazing. Okay, we'll go back up to 7. It's the killer's turn. The nurse is coming after us, dude. She rolls 2 and misses. Let's go. Let's go. What do we got? An operating room, +1 decay. No, I'm going to push my luck into used bandages. Yep, we're going to do that. I'm not going to use my perk. We need to get some luck here, dude. We need an 8 through a 10. Oh, we got a 1. Your wounds become infected, +1 decay. Yikes, our decay increases by 1. That's not what we want to see. Not what we want to see. Okay, it's the killer's turn. She rolls a 1 and misses. Let's go. That is what we want to see. The locker? Ooh, we would... Oh, man. We would lose the game if we roll 7 through 10 because it's going to give us +1 decay and -1 health. So they would meet up and we would lose. I'm going to push my luck. We got the dark hallway. Ooh, we would lose too if we get the -2 health. I'm gonna go for the dark hallway, dude. Odds are on our side. We need 4 through 10, guys. We need 4 through 10. We rolled a 7. Yes, you stumble across a bandage, +1 health. Okay, good. Whew, we could have literally lost right there if we would have taken the 2 damage from the other outcome. Oh my goodness, this is crazy tense. Okay, it's the killer's turn. She rolls doubles. Oh no, dude. So her special ability, overdosage, gets popped off. Roll 1d6 and take infection based on roll. Uh-oh. Oh, man, we rolled a 6. We get 3 infection. No way, guys. 1, 2, 3. We've lost the game. We were so close. I just want to see for fun. Was the next item card anti-parasitic B? It wasn't. Okay, good. Whew, I don't feel as bad about it now. So there it is, guys. That is Decayed by Abigail Glover of Underkeeper Games. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial/playthrough. This is an excellent game, guys. It is super, super fun. It's got a very similar push your luck mechanic to Iron Helm, if you're familiar with that. Very similar push your luck mechanic to Iron Helm. It's really, really fun. But everything else about it is so different. The killer mechanic is very clever, very unique, really, really fun, intense, that there's like, it plays into the theme too. The theme is something that is just so amazing. I love like dark, creepy stuff like this. It reminds me of the video game Left 4 Dead. Really, really cool theme. I love the artwork and the coloring, like the sort of dual tone, tritone red with the black, white, or grays. Just looks really stark and really, really menacing and creepy. It looks really cool and fits the theme really well. Very, very cool stuff. It reminds me of, his name is eluding me at the moment, but the guy that makes Doom Machine, in a lot of his art, he uses sort of like dual tone or like tritoned colors, and like it works really well, and that's kind of what the art coloring reminds me of in this game. Really, really cool. Yeah, it plays really smoothly. It's cool that all the characters have different stats. They have their own little perk, and you really got to decide when you want to use the perk, which is really neat. All of the different items are really cool. I like that there's like different win scenarios depending on which killer you're playing against. Like, it's completely different if you were to play against the surgeon. There's a different win condition for the surgeon and for the amalgamation. So yeah, it's going to be different pretty much every time you play, depending on which killer you're playing against. Very, very cool stuff. So there it is, guys. I really, really enjoy the game. It's fantastic. Andrea knocked it out of the park with this one. Excellent first entry. Looking forward to seeing more games from her. And yeah, guys, if you want to pick up your own copy of Decayed, you can check the description down below, and there will be a link that you can follow. Click on that link, and you can go check out the game and purchase it for yourself from the Game Crafter. I believe it's even on sale right now, at least at the time that I'm recording this video. So yeah, head over there and scoop it up now while it's on sale. So there it is, guys. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, click the bell to stay updated every time I upload a brand new video. And I have some playthroughs of Decayed on the way, so be on the lookout for that. And until then, have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video.